Autumn in London always brings with it an indescribable atmosphere. The sky is gloomy, the clouds are drifting gray, and the cold wind is creeping through the cobblestone streets. In that atmosphere, Buckingham Palace, with its ancient walls, still stands tall as an unchanging symbol of England. But today, inside those walls, an undercurrent is rising. The long, quiet corridor suddenly echoed with hurried footsteps. A servant in black ceremonial clothes, holding a red envelope with the royal seal in his hand, walked quickly towards the king's study. He knew that what he was holding was not ordinary news. The door to the room opened. The king sat behind a shiny wooden desk, his hands scanning a stack of documents. When the envelope was placed on the table, he raised his head and nodded slightly. The atmosphere in the room became heavy. He took out a small gold-plated knife, cut the seal, and read quietly. As soon as his eyes swept across the first lines, his face froze. The usual calm was gone, replaced by a tense, slightly angry tone. The letter was about a secret recording, allegedly between Meghan Markle and a senior royal figure. In the recording, Meghan was said to have been bluntly critical of members of the royal family, and hinted that she would tell the whole truth in public if her personal demands were not met. The king put the letter down on the table, and there was a long silence. A courtier asked cautiously, "Sir, this could be a rumor. Do you want us to verify it?" The king replied softly, but firmly, "I want to know who leaked it." A few hours later, the news had leaked out the very thing the king feared most. The tabloids ran headlines, "Meghan defies royal family, shocking audio record emerges." Television channels continuously broadcast, invited experts to comment. Some even claimed that they had heard the recording and the content is worse than what the press reported. In the quiet house in California, Prince Harry was silent in front of the television screen. Meghan sat next to him, her arms crossed over her chest, her eyes cold as ice. Harry said tiredly, "I knew this would cause a storm. Why did you do it?" Meghan looked straight into his eyes. "I was just protecting myself. If they wanted to fight, I wouldn't sit still." The pressure was on Harry. On one side was his wife, whom he had given up everything to protect. On the other side was his family, his country, and even the honor of the royal family. He felt torn in two, not knowing which side to stand on. At the same time, in the palace, the advisors held an urgent meeting. Some suggested keeping quiet to avoid making a big deal out of it. Others thought that they had to refute immediately, otherwise they would lose control of the story. A former royal official stood up and slammed his hand on the table. "If we leave her alone, she will think she can say whatever she wants." The media and social networks were clearly divided into two camps. Meghan's supporters said she was a victim, oppressed and forced to speak out. The critics accused her of using the drama to polish her name, turning family matters into a weapon. That afternoon, Buckingham Palace issued a brief statement. "We are aware of the information being spread. This matter will be handled internally." The statement seemed to calm public opinion, but in fact, it made people more curious. What did handling internally mean? Forgiveness, or will there be some strong move? At night, the yellow lights of the palace shone on the large courtyard. People hurried in and out. In a closed room, the king sat pensively by the window. He knew that whatever his decision was, it would leave a deep mark on the history of the royal family. On the other side of the world, Meghan opened her laptop and typed a few lines of email to a prominent journalist. As she pressed send, her lips curled slightly. The real storm perhaps was just beginning, and Britain, along with millions around the world, waited to see how would the royal family respond.